Hello, Sandy Graham of Hobo Traveler in Dominican Republic. I'm in the Caribbean. I've been traveling for 14 years and perpetually. I don't have a home. I've lived in 90 different countries. Probably one of the most, I think I'm probably one of the most prolific travelers on the planet, but who knows, there's no way to check all the different languages, right? Okay, in this time I've stayed in somewhere between 800 and 1,400 hotel rooms. Today I'm giving lesson number 4 on how to find a cheap room. Hotel room. Well, I'm going to call them travel rooms because generally, you know, people get mixed up here. I'm not trying to tell you how to find a resort. There's a way to find a business hotel, a resort. There's different types of hotels, but we on the website, if you go to Hobo Traveler, you search for travel rooms, which is our generic term for everything. We're not calling it accommodations, hotels. We have these words, and hostels. And I sure as hell don't want you to live in hostels. I mean, that's like horrible. Okay, but I have. Okay, in lesson 1 I told you about the guidebook, where you say basically you're trying to find the cheap location with a guidebook. A guidebook will tell you the cheap location, plus it'll tell you a target price. In the second lesson I talked about no reservations, because on the internet they're basically selling you a pig in a poke. They show you 2 pictures and you basically have to settle for what you want. I want the best room. I don't really care about living in a bad room. I want to know that I can look at the room and make sure I get the best room. So if I do get a reservation, it's for one night. Okay. And if, you know, I'm going to do it, I want to see photos and I don't want to hear reviews. Okay. In the third lesson, I was talking about the need to commit. You have to say what you're going to do and do it. If you're not willing to say, I'm looking for a cheap room, I want a room for $10, or I want a room for $5, or I want a room for $50, how are you going to get it? So you have to believe in what you're doing. If you're not willing to stand up and man up and do it, then how are you going to do it? Okay, today, lesson number 4. Probably the ungodly number. This is the number 1 silly things that people do when trying to find a cheap room, especially if they haven't got a reservation. Of course, they think they got a reservation and they're going to arrive late. They're greedy. They want to get so much out of life that they can't do. What I want you to do is arrive before noon at the place where you're going to get a room. I want you to arrive in the morning. I take a lot of night, you know, to me, night plane, leaving at midnight, arriving at 8 o'clock in the morning is guaranteed. I'm going to save $100. Okay, it's just guaranteed. If the cost of the plane fare, you know, if you arrive at 8 o'clock at night in a city and you try to negotiate a price on a thing, you're screwed. They know it. We know it. Everybody's got it. So it's about time. What you got to do is you got to have you got to have enough time to negotiate and you got to communicate to the hotel that they don't have you by the short hairs, that you really are smart. Obviously, a dingling getting off a shuttle that's, you know, picked up by the shuttle guy, dropping him off. He's got 4 bags. He's tired. He's got 6 kids. He's got no choice. He's screwed. He's going to pay through the nose. He's got to take the worst room in the hotel. There's no negotiating power whatsoever. There are no options. What they call it, the BATMA, the best alternative to negotiated agreement. That's a negotiation term, but BATMA, best alternative to negotiated agreement. You want to have alternatives to your negotiations. Okay. So, when you're getting a room, it's not just the price of the room. It's the price of the room. It's the price of the taxi from the hotel to the room. It's the price of the airfare. All that accumulated together is your total price as a package. So the quick way to, you know, a lot of people will get cheap airfare, then they'll arrive at 8 o'clock at night and pay triple for the hotel. Over 10 days, that they didn't save anything on airfare, really. I mean, they should have paid more for the airfare. You accumulate them all together and you tally them up and you put them together. But bottom line is 95% of the time you're going to be able to arrive at a city before noon. And if I'm leaving by land, I will travel to, I'll leave at 7. I always arrive by 5. I don't travel in the afternoon. The afternoon travel is for greediness. It's like you're somehow going to make your life better by taking up your whole day traveling. Now there are times where you make a big jump and you land there at 8 o'clock at night and you get a big distance and you have to do it. But if I'm just meandering around the country, I'm a nomad. I have absolutely no reason whatsoever to try to do more than about 3 hours worth of travel in a day. So I would leave at 7 in the morning, arrive at 10, walk around, plop down in the hotel. I will do things like sit at the bus stop for 10 minutes, drink a cup of coffee, and see what pops up. Maybe some foreigner walks by. I don't ask. The locals want to screw me. They want to get me in the biggest priced hotel for the most amount of money. So they're coming up and they're pitching this crazy stuff. A foreigner, if you get the right one, might be able to give you a hint as he's walking by. You say, "Hey, I got another 6 hours before I have to find a room, right?" You sit there, a foreigner walks by and he looks like he's pretty knowledgeable. He doesn't have a guidebook in his hand. He's kind of savvy looking. You can go, "Hey, where's the cheap area?" And then you can go, "Where is a good room?" And you say, I would say something like, "I'm looking for a $10 room." I don't say I'm looking for a room. I'm looking for a $5 room. I'm looking for a $10 room. I get them right on the target because they really don't know anyway. But some of them do, and they can at least go, "Well, I don't know, but I think down that way." And then you can start walking. Now, walking. Okay, what you have is you're going to have, if you arrive before noon or somewhere there, you're going to have 3 or 4 hours where you can just relax. I mean, go eat dinner, lunch, whatever you want to do, and relax. Don't get in a hurry. Look at the guidebook, study the map, start understanding the city while you're sitting in the city. It's pretty hard to understand a city. I mean, you got a map, you're confused, you got to get these landmarks. I travel by landmarks. I'm looking for landmarks on the maps, like the big hotel, the cheap hotel, the backpacker hostel, the internet cafe. Internet cafes are a good way to start. They're a good place to revolve around. I mean, internet cafes are centers. I mean, that's places which are things. Okay, storage of your backpack. Obviously, the more backpacks, anything more than 2, and you're kind of silly. You're really looking silly. If you have more than 2 bags, you're really good. Ideally, 1 bag somehow is about the most that most people can carry. A roller bag is better really than a backpack because you don't get tired. I carry a backpack, but just because I go through muddy places. But if 90% of the people aren't going through muddy places. But a roller bag with a little, so you have a backpack, a roller bag, and then a front pack. That's it. Anything extra than that, you're just making life difficult. But what you're going to have to do, ideally, it would be nice if we had these little, I'm trying to convince the guy down here to make his hotel the center of the expat colony and say, hey, this is where they can come and they can park their stuff. When I came down here, I was at, first time I came here, it was raining. Oh, it's horrible. Every hotel in the city is like $40 to start. I go to Rick's at, where's this place? Rockies. And it's raining, and there's a bunch of guys sitting around drinking coffee. I finally realize I can trust them, and I leave my backpack, and then I go on these series of walks in the rain with my umbrella. I got an umbrella. I walk, and I walk, and I walk, and I walk. And finally, I found a place for, about $250 a month. You can rent a room by the day for $30, or you can rent it for the month for $250. It's crazy. This city's crazy. The daily fee is high. But the thing, so I walked around. I stored my backpack. So I have a chain that I can store all this, lock this all together. I have just a dog chain with a lock. I put them together. I lock it to the table somewhere, and then I go for a walk. And I've never lost my backpack, but you gotta be careful. There's 2 of you, this gets easier, right? That's me. I'm by myself, and I still haven't been around. 2 of you can go on these jaunts. Okay, storing your backpack. One other way. Well, one of the interesting things about hotels is they really don't care whether they rent a room. You think they do, but they really don't. So until noon comes, or 1 o'clock, whatever checkout, there are no rooms. So you walk into a hotel, no rooms, and you go, what is checkout? 12. I mean, I don't understand people, but there are no rooms. But there are rooms. But okay, the best rooms, at 12 noon, somewhere around this time, if you can cajole the person. The cheap room's going to go. You gotta tell them, I want the cheap room. So you get in the queue, kind of, and they say, oh, there's nobody moving out. And I mean, I don't know what, it's just natural for people to lie. There are no rooms. And then, you stand there at noon and 2 people leave. Oh, I'm sorry, there's room. They don't say they're sorry, they just act like they're. Okay, so you got 5 hotels, and you're kind of walking around these hotels, and you realize that one's really full, one's busy, one's got better rooms, and so you're basically in the queue trying to figure out which room's going to pop up, and then you can stand there and say, it's very, very common for people to say there are no rooms. There's always a room. I don't understand hotels. They really have no clue what their staff is doing. Okay, now here's some interesting thing is that in a really good hotel that is full 24 hours a day, they want to know who's going to live there. They want to interview you. They don't really just want to say, yes, there's a room. In Cusco, Peru, you sit there and they come up to the gate and they look at you and they say whether there's rooms or not. Then they let you in. If they like you, they let you in. So in a way, you have to realize you're on interview. It's a two-way street. This is not just you. I was in Iraq, in Sulaymaniyah, Iraq, and they never had a room. Always, I'm traveling through Iraq 2 months after the heavy fighting ended, and I'm like worried about this stuff. And then I'm really dealing with this. They want to make sure they have good people living in their hotel. So I went from Arbil to Sulaymaniyah. I arrived in the morning, and I'm sitting there and I go, I don't know what to do. They say they have no rooms. I don't speak Arabic. Well, I'm sitting there and I go, well, finally they just decided they liked me and they go show me a room. I go, this is weird. Why did you do it? Well, I was polite. I was, nice. And they finally realized that it was okay to rent a room. So it's you don't just walk in and say, show me a room, show me a room. But I never rent a room without looking at it. Okay, I don't think I've ever done that. I always look at a room. I'm not, you can't trust the hotels. Bottom line, 99.9% of them are liars. They will put you in the worst possible room. So you got to go, I will normally look at, 5 to 10 rooms. And then I make the decision on which room. And then I'm looking around for the cheaper rooms, right, while I'm doing that. Okay, because I got time. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a rush. I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying the journey, as they say. I mean, you guys act like, sometimes they act like the whole thing is the experience. Finding a room is fun. Okay. Sometimes you have to wait, just sit there and just talk. Be a friend. Be somebody's friend. You're going to live in the hotel. Make a friend of the owner. Make a friend of the receptionist. If you don't like them, you're interviewing them, they're interviewing you. Why are you living in this place? This is your home. Home away from home. What does that mean? Let's make it a home. Okay, there's also the worst case. I mean, especially if you're going to try to find an apartment by the month. You can land on the thing, you can get a cell phone, get a chip really fast. You buy them for like $4. You buy a chip, put it in your phone, and then you basically would call up. You can go to like here. A lot of places will have signboards where you can call up numbers, and then you're going to have a number they can call you back to try to get to the room. Hotels, well, apartments are incredibly difficult to rent because usually if I was going to rent an apartment, I would rent a room for a day and then let them, because you call them 16 times, they don't call you back. They don't have any signs. I mean, we're going to do a video where we show 5 places to rent, and none of them have a telephone number to call. Okay, and you're going, this is crazy. I'm going to try to put it on the screen so you can dig through it. They just don't make it easy. There should be a number to call. The person should pick up the phone. They should call you back. I mean, people just make the inquiry handling process a mess. All they would have to do to rent all their rooms was make the inquiry handling process easy. Phone number on the building, call the number, they call you back, I call them, they answer, how much, they don't play games, they say how much is the room, they tell you the price, and they say what's available. Okay, so there is also this time to do the phone call back. Bottom line is, time is your benefit to a cheap room. Having no time is the enemy. So if you want to negotiate, you have to have enough time to do it. So, and it's not just the price of the room, it's the price of, your taxi's going to be cheaper in the morning. Okay, the taxi at 8 o'clock at night is going to be double the price. Committing to things like taxis and committing to all these things is not going to make you a better deal. At the worst case scenario, one thing I could always say is that if you get a room, just sacrifice one night and then walk around the next day. If don't get really hung up on the first night. The first night is, I pay a lot of money sometimes the first night, but it's the 5 days after where I don't pay money. So it's the average. It's not the one night. It's the average of the total. So easy. Obviously, if I'm renting a room for 6 months, I could get a $5 a night room. If I'm renting a room for 3 nights, the price goes up. But it's the total cumulative package, the bundle of things. I'm going to be talking too soon about the not paying for things that you don't need. You got to understand who you are. Do you need a swimming pool? Do you actually go to the swimming pool? Or are you just paying for a swimming pool and not using it? Do you need a bar? A hotel room is for sleeping. I don't really like to live with my bar. I don't go to a bar, but I don't want to live I definitely don't want to live in a hostel in Europe with a bunch of crazy kids living in a bar. They actually, I call them flophouse hostels. They live inside the bar and they call it a party and they call it life, and then that's what these websites are put. It's like 24-hour-a-day party. Everybody comes in. A room is a room, and the facility is a separate thing. A lot of times, if you don't have all those things, the cost is nothing because all you got is your room. They think that a benefit is living in a bar, and that these are things that you don't need. But you have a bundle of benefits to a hotel, and these total bundle of benefits are what you're buying. And so when I'm saying I'm buying a travel room for $10 a night, I am not saying I'm buying a swimming pool. That I will live next, like I was in Thailand and I rented a room in this cheap place, and I'd go next door for $1 a day to the swimming pool. Saved me, $15 a night, because I didn't have the swimming pool connected to my room. Then I had the quiet room and they had the noisy room. Okay, so, but that's not the most romantic way to do it, right? Okay. Andy, I'm working through this. If anybody wants to make some comments and tell me questions and stuff, they can put them in the bottom of, I'm sort of leaving. It's better if you put them on the blog. Putting them on the YouTube video is really not the best place. But if you put them on the blog, you click and you find the blog, the link that says travel rooms on hobotraveler.com is going to show you all the videos. And if you put the questions and stuff, I'll try to. Yeah. This is lesson number 4. I think by the time I'm done, I'm probably going to have close to 60 of these. I was talking with Andrew today, and the amount of knowledge I have on how to find rooms is just phenomenal. And we're trying to record screenshots so that I can show you on screen how to search all the little tricks. I think there's probably at least 60. I probably have 100 different ways of videos that I could explain on how to find a cheap room. It's 14 years of travel. I got a lot of experience. Okay, Andy, Hobo Traveler. Hope my hair day is better. I'm trying to upgrade my image. I'm not very vain, so I have a problem here.